Three takeaways from Atlanta United's 2-1 win. Yes, a win against the New York Red Bulls to keep their playoff hopes alive going into Decision Day. Sydney and Tyler with you here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Lights have just gone out, so I don't know if they're trying to send a message to us or anything like that, Tyler. First takeaway, the start to the match. Rob Valentino said it started differently. It felt different, and 100% agree. It felt like they were the aggressor coming into this match. I don't know if it was just the desperation of tonight, just knowing that they had to win to keep their playoff hopes alive, knowing that Miami had been in Toronto, so a draw wouldn't hurt them unless Philly and DC won their matches. But they had to win, plain and simple, and they came out right away as the aggressor. And that's what we talked about before the match. Just if you lose, go down swinging, but ultimately they won.
Yeah, I mean, Rob, he kind of asked media today. He was like, I felt it was better. I don't know if y'all felt the same way. And I so badly wanted to be like, no, it was better. Yeah. It was better, 100%. And, from the opening whistle, they came out with intensity. That's, again, you just said it, but that's what we wanted, right? We just wanted to see them show some passion, show some fight, show everybody that showed up here to the Benz today that they really wanted it. And you're rewarded. You get the 3 points, right? But you showed something that you haven't showed in a long time. It wasn't perfect, but I don't want to, the negativity is so frustrating to live in. You have to celebrate the win. And, you got lucky, which Rob also mentioned. You got incredibly lucky. He's like, I'll take it. Absolutely. Yeah. You had a couple of goals that were called back offside. Cool. I'll take the win. But ultimately, they felt like they had a game plan from the get-go. They came out. They played their game. They played it fairly well. Being more clinical is definitely a conversation, but you're putting shots on goal. You're getting into the final third. You're staying in their final third for a long time, and it just felt much better and much more confident by Atlanta.
No, absolutely, and you felt a goal was coming. I mean, to be honest, it could have been maybe 2-0 at least by the half. It sort of had that feel to it. It felt like Atlanta should have been ahead, and there's some frustrating chances that didn't go their way, but ultimately they kept their nerve largely and did get the win. The most important 3 points of the season going to the Decision Day, which is in 2 weeks, and we can talk about that all night. Before we get to point number 2, just a reminder that American Family Insurance Camp United sweepstakes is about to run out. Deadline to enter, I should say, is on Monday. Go to amfam.com/United for all the details and to enter. We'll put the link in the description. Point number 2. Let's talk about those disallowed goals. 2 goals the first one in the moment. You're like, oh my goodness, Atlanta just conceded a man down. It's looked at VAR, and ultimately everyone breathes a sigh of relief because it was offsides by an inch at best. Second goal was offside. There's offside in the build-up. No VAR needed for that, but still, that sigh of relief. And I feel like that was an emotional challenge for Atlanta United, knowing that, hey, we're up a man. We shouldn't be doing this. And Rob saying, no, I was frustrated, but, we got lucky, and we can use some of that luck. And he said something that made us laugh in the press conference when he said, sorry to Sandro Schwartz, the Red Bulls coach, but, they have 3 points. They're in the playoffs. We got the luck that we needed. So that was one thing that significantly stuck out for Atlanta United this evening.
Yeah, and look, Rob said it. Ronald Hernandez said it. Steon Gregerson said it. I mean, a lot of players that we talked to down in the locker room and then, of course, Coach, they all said, the 3 points is the most important, obviously. But they said it was painful to give up the final goal. I mean, you did give up a goal in the end in the third extra minute of extra stoppage time. Whatever. We'll get to that later.
Brad was fuming after that. I think I initially thought it was at the referee, but I think it was at Gregerson for conceding.
Yeah, I don't know. It could have been all of the above, right? I mean, it was just a weird situation. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you had the 2 offside calls. And, the first one, I already tweeted out, oh, it's 1-1. There's your mental mistake of the night. But, I mean, he was offside. You go back and look, it was the right call, if only by a hair. But it was the right call. The second one, like you said, in the build-up, it was a little bit easier. But they all said, we have to work on that. We have to be better. You got one game, hopefully more, but you've got one game that you absolutely have to be better because where the Red Bulls are not finishing their chances very often, Orlando is. Yeah. Orlando's in a run of form right now. So you have to do what you can in this international break to get right, look at the film, and two things: fix those mistakes, but ultimately you have to come out in Orlando with at least the same intensity you had tonight, if not more.
Yeah, Orlando's just in blistering form. They won again tonight, 3-1 against FC Cincinnati. Really a dark horse to win the Eastern Conference in my books, considering the form that they're on. So point number 3 that takes us to the final point. Atlanta United still alive in the playoff race. Again, needing a win to stay alive. Got some help from Miami, from Leo Campana early on against Toronto. That changed the calculus just a little bit, but yeah, Atlanta's still alive, and that's all that matters. We'll get into the permutations and all of that as time goes on. There's some reckoning as to what Atlanta might need going into the decision day, but I think the most important thing is they're alive going into the decision day, and they really have half a chance to make the playoffs if they beat Orlando and see other results fall their way.
Yeah, and what do we say coming into this one? And we've been saying it for a couple of weeks now, but your destiny is in your hands. Not fully in your hands now, but you did yourself all the favors that you could tonight. You won the game. That's what you had to do, right? Because the other games tonight didn't go in your favor to where a draw would have been okay.
Right.
So you take a week, you do what you can to keep the momentum. Talked to Ronald about that, and he said, we just have to – we're going to have some rest days, but we just have to keep this, essentially paraphrasing here, but we have to keep this vibe going into the Orlando match. And, yeah, I mean – go and do it again. Go and do it again. You have to win, and some things have to go your way that aren't unreasonable, but none of it matters if you don't go win against Orlando. So that should be your singular goal. It is very black and white now, which in a lot of ways I think it takes some of the pressure out because you just have to go play soccer. You don't have to worry about, settling in for a little bit or, phases of the game. You just have to go win the game and score goals. So it takes a lot of the thought process out of it. And you just go back to muscle memory. So it's as simple as that. Go win.
I think the kind of the takeaway that we can, or probably the benefit for Atlanta United is they've played to the level of their opponents. Like, they've played very well against really good opponents all season long, and they're going to need to do it again against Orlando City, a team that, again, could be a dark horse in the Eastern Conference. They're just on blistering form, winning again. But, again, Atlanta United alive in the Eastern Conference Finals, or the Eastern Conference playoff race. Again, Sydney and Tyler with you. Atlanta United beating the New York Red Bulls in their regular season home finale 2-1. Let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll talk to you soon.